people were the beginning of civilization.
And there's no
Adam was the first man of the earth. He was made of the earth, the soil. Adam, or the Hebrew Adam, means earth. That's what was used. We're the beginning of civilization, and we're also going to be the end of. That's right. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 8. Come on. He did.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. The Israelites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, as prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. Here in Israel United in Christ, we need your help to recover the remnant of our people, teach them the gospel. Please help us, support us, and join or donate to the Booster Club today. Shalom.
How you doing today, sir? My name's Hezekiah. What's your name, bro? John. John. That's one of the names of the prophets in the Bible. Did you know that? Come take a flower real quick, man. I see you on your way, but let me share something with you. Because what we were talking about earlier was God changed our names through captivity. John is one of the names of the disciples. But through slavery, we were handed names that didn't originally belong to us. I'll give you an example. If my last name is Anderson or Smith, that's not a name that originally belonged to me. It belonged to somebody else, and my family adopted that name. That only happened because it was done against our will. But what God did was, when we were in our own land, when we were over in Africa, we had our own names, our own history, our own culture. What happened was, through slavery, somebody else has handed us new names. They've given us new history. They've given us a new culture. But God always gave us a culture from the beginning. Our culture was God's chosen people as the Israelites. Right. If I asked you who you were according to the Bible, if you had to put your name on a job application and it asked you about what's your race, what would you say?
I'd say African American.
You would say African American, right? That's the same thing I've said on every job application I've ever done. I'll put African American. However, do you believe in the Bible? Okay, so you say you don't believe in the Bible. Why? What's wrong with it?
Too many stories, too many different versions.
Too many stories, too many different versions. All right? At one point in time, particularly when I went off to college, I didn't believe in the Bible either. I said there's too many versions, there's too many issues with it. When you go to the church, they tell you one thing, and you go to another church, they tell you something else, right? Now, I'm gonna read just a sample of one of the stories in there, and you tell me who it's talking about. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5.
Bring it up.
What's happening is, I can speak for myself. I never really sat down and opened this book and read it for myself until I met somebody who challenged me. They say, go home and read it for yourself. Then form your opinion about it. I have formed my opinion about it due to my relationship with the churches I was raised in. Right. Let's read this real quick. What you got?
Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5.
According to the Bible, Solomon was the wisest king and the richest to ever rule on the earth. This is what he's saying about himself. Read.
I am black.
I am what?
I am black.
Solomon, the wisest and richest man to ever live, was a black man according to his own account. Read.
But comely.
Comely means handsome. So he's saying I'm black and handsome, or I'm black and beautiful. When you see a woman on the earth now and she says she wants a man, the stereotypical description of that man is tall, dark, and handsome. Solomon described himself as dark and handsome. Read that again.
I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
Have you ever heard that in any story, any church? Has your family told you that King Solomon described himself as a so-called black man? So what you're going to see is, when you actually read the Bible for yourself, and we brought these signs out here for a reason. Everything happening in the Bible is history. That's a history book. Everything started in Africa, Northeast Africa, Mesopotamia, Ethiopia. These are lands traditionally filled with dark-skinned people.
Right.
So now what has caused me to not think that this book deals with my ancestors? Because it does. Geography confers with it, the Bible itself confers with it, history confers with it, but somehow between all that and the church, we have lost the concept that this Bible is talking about us. Now, we just read about King Solomon. King Solomon was one of the ancestors of Jesus Christ. Let's see what Jesus Christ looks like. Give me the book of the Revelation, chapter 1, verse 14. All I want to prove to you is, John, prove the point that the Bible was a book written by black men for black men.
Right.
Because we're the leaders of our community. So these are some of our ancestors who were also the leaders of their community. So we can learn something from their example if we just open it and read it. Read what you got.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 14.
Right.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
The book of Revelation, or to reveal, was written by a prophet named John. That was one of the disciples. He wrote this. So he was given a sight of what was going to happen in the future. Now he's describing an image of Jesus Christ, because back then, about 2,000 years ago, there was no Instagram. I can't log on to a profile and see Jesus Christ. So somebody who lived there would have to leave a record of what he looked like in order for me to know what he looks like. Read that again.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
His head, the top of his head, and his hairs is talking about his beard. Because any man, if you can grow hair, you're supposed to have a beard on your face. That's how you tell the difference between a man and a woman.
Right.
That beard is critical to understand. I didn't have an ID to give you. So in order for you to know I was a man, you would look at me and go, okay, he has a beard, he's a man. If he didn't have a beard, I would say he's a boy. That's how you tell the difference between a man and a boy and a man and a woman. So Christ had a beard, and his hair or the texture was like wool. Who on the earth has hair that's like wool today? Huh?
What did you say?
Animals?
Right, so like a sheep has wool hair. What people have hair that's kind of like sheep's hair?
Huh?
They have hair that's kind of like sheep's hair? So this hair right here, that's hair similar to a sheep?
Oh, no.
No. Now, this hair here, black hair, right. So he had black hair, he had woolly hair.
Right.
That was what the definition for wool hair was before they changed the dictionaries. Not only have they been trying to change the Bibles, but they've been changing the dictionaries.
Right.
This is the 23rd version edition of the dictionary. Why? Because 23 different times they changed what words mean
Right.
to hide the truth from us. It's the same thing with the scriptures. They continue to try to change the Bible because they want to hide more and more of this book. It's not for them. It's actually for you.
That's
This is
right.
the greatest black power book on the planet, because at the end of the book, it says you and your people get to go on the come up. It says the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Well, who's last right now? So who's going to be first? Are white people last right now? So who's going to be last? This book
Bring it
is
up.
all about you coming up and everybody else coming down.
Right.
But it's only right. Look at what they did to us. It's not hate, it's only right. If you did this to somebody, if God's a just God, which he is, he's going to make sure these people pay for what they did and that you get the payment and the life that you deserve.
Right. That's right.
Have you ever had to struggle to pay for your bills or to get a job? Do you think you're supposed to live like that? No, we're not. A lot of our people think we're supposed to live like that because it's all we know. But the scriptures, God says we're a holy people. We were made in the image of these same people.
Right.
Read that verse again.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Come on, keep reading.
As white as snow.
White as snow, read.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
So, we're going to play a process of illumination. And I thank you for your time, John. I just want to prove this point to you, all right? Jesus Christ had hair like wool. Strike one. This image was painted in the Renaissance period. Black people as a whole, we ruled the earth for 1,000 years. It's a time period called the Dark Ages. It was called Dark Ages because dark people ruled.
Right.
So after we fell out of power, they took our book, our history, and they started painting themselves over our images. So they created this when we fell out of power. When we were in power, we made sure people understood this is the earliest painting of Jesus Christ you can find that's accurate. 912 AD. That's not too long after the Roman Empire had failed. Why? Because we overthrew the Roman Empire.
That's right.
That's the same time period of the Dark Ages. But when they overthrew us again, they changed it. Give in.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
His eyes was red because when you drink, do you drink, John?
Yeah, man, just back.
I drink. The Bible doesn't say you can't drink. It encourages drinking responsibly.
Right.
So you're supposed to drink responsibly. When your goal, Jesus Christ's goal was to deal with hard-headed people. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth, John, black people are hard-headed as hell. I know from my own life, when I was growing up, I was hard-headed and I didn't want to listen to people. So when you have to deal with hard-headed people, when you come home, sometimes you want to get a little drink to take the edge off. So Christ would drink responsibly. When you drink, what happens to your eyes? Like if you see somebody who drinks, what happens to the color of their eyes?
Real big and red.
It gets red. So Christ drank wine, but in moderation.
Right.
Strike two.
Right.
This is exactly how he was described by John. Keep reading.
Verse 15.
Come on.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
Now look at the shoes you got on, John. If you didn't have on your socks, would I be able to see the color of your feet? What color would they be? They'd be brown, like the rest of your body, right? If I live in a hot climate, like Northeast Africa, or what they call the Middle East, which is really Africa. If I live in a hot climate, would I be in sandals with socks on? Probably not. So if I'm in my sandals, you can see my feet. What color were his feet?
And his feet like unto fine brass.
So the Bible describes Christ as a man that had wool hair, he had skin of a darker tone, and he had, read that again?
And his feet like unto fine brass.
Dark tone, but how dark? Read.
As if they burn in a furnace.
If you burn anything, if you burn white rice, what color does it become? That's how I know it's burnt. If I burn toast, it's black. If I burn anything I put in the oven, I know it's burnt because it's black.
Right.
Christ was so black, it looked like he was burned in the oven. Right? I grew up with a friend in school, and we used to call him Black, was his nickname, because he was so dark. We called him Black, but that was his nickname. He's not the actual color of black. Black is a crayon.
Right.
But what we were saying was, you so dark, his nickname was Black. That's how we knew him in school. Like, what's up, Black? But he wasn't actually black, but that's how dark he was, as if he was burned in a furnace. When you live in a climate like that over there, where the temperature is so consistently so hot, what happens? You get darker. How do you live in a climate like that and you don't have the skin to deal with that sun? We have that skin. This nation right here, they don't have the skin it takes to live in a climate like that.
Right.
That's why they invented suntan lotion and you didn't, because you don't need it. But in the sun, we still do get dark. So he was dark enough that he was confused as being burned in a furnace. That's how he was described. So the Bible leaves a record because we would need to know the truth. Because what happens is they come out with new versions of the Bible. They come out with pictures. Every year there's a movie, some new movie about the life of Jesus Christ. And they never accurately portray what it looks like according to the source material.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you how evil that is. Give me Habakkuk 1 and 4. Habakkuk 1 and 4. I think that's what I want. If they do a movie about Batman, is he ever cast as a black man? Why?
Because his suit already black.
He's black, but why is the man who plays him not allowed to be black?
Because the man that made the comic book wrote him as black or white.
Right. The source material doesn't agree with that. And I have no issue with that. I'm not asking for somebody who was written as a white or a Caucasian man to be me. That's not right. The source material does not describe him as that. So Batman will always be a so-called Caucasian man. I'm fine with that. The issue is the Bible or the source material describes Christ as looking more like you. So now we should have a conflict with why every time they do a movie, it looks like this. It's not true to the source material.
The Bible is scientifically
Habakkuk
incorrect.
chapter 1 verse 4.
This Habakkuk 1 and 4. Read.
Therefore the law is slack.
Therefore what?
The law is slack.
So the Bible, when you lie, there was a consequence for that. But now, because there's a people who are ruling society who don't go by what the Bible actually says, the law is slack. Or the consequence for breaking it, they don't put that consequence on themselves. Read.
And judgment doth never go forth.
Judgment what?
Doth never go forth.
Do you think it's a coincidence when somebody who looks like you gets shot down in the street, the police officer gets off? True judgment is not going forth. When the Bible says thou shalt not kill, and there's a penalty for that. Now, if these were the people of the book, they would advocate what the Bible says.
That's right.
You know why? I've been to court. When you go to court, do you so solemnly swear to the truth, whole truth, number two, swear to God? I swear. They take this, they close it. They put it under the desk. And then they pull out their own book that they made up that you never had access to. And they judge you out of that. Because they're not God's people. God's people always judged any issue we had out of the book God already gave us.
That's
What can I come up with that's more accurate or more compassionate than God's laws? God's laws are full of compassion. I'm gonna give you an example. Deuteronomy 22 and 25. I want the law on if somebody gets caught in the midst of a rape. God's laws are compassionate. When you do something very vile, God says that person has to suffer an extreme punishment. Because God's a compassionate God. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy 22, verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field.
So if a man finds a woman that's not his wife, read.
And the man force her.
He forces her or he causes her to have sex with him. That's rape. You take rape pills, excuse me. Your pills you use to put women to sleep and have sex with them against their will. That's under this law. If you find a woman and you cause her to have sex with you against her will, read.
And the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
God says the rapist has to die. He didn't say let him sit in jail for 20 years and live a nice long life.
Let me ask you a question.
What he did was so egregious. You got to look at somebody who has had to survive a rape. The trauma that goes on up here, that stays with that person for years. They're constantly messed up. They have trust issues. They don't know how to form a relationship anymore. And that goes on, so they may have survived a rape, and now you try to deal with the sister, and you're not trying to mistreat the sister. But she has been traumatized by this example here. God is explaining to us that act is so traumatizing. As punishment, the person that did it should die.
Let me ask you a question.
Verse 26. But unto the damsel,
But unto the woman, read,
thou shalt not do nothing.
God says don't do anything to her. This Bible is about consensual sex. It's supposed to happen within at the husband and wife, and you decide to become husband and wife. That's when sex is supposed to happen. The Bible is about empowering women. I don't know why women think the Bible is oppressing them. The Bible is saying that if somebody takes a woman and makes her a victim, that person should pay for their crime. Keep reading.
There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death.
There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. So God is saying, don't punish the woman, punish the man. Let me give you an example. Somebody like Epstein. How many so-called people has he taken advantage of, allegedly? Because he was locked up for it. But to escape judgment, because he didn't want to live a life behind cell bars, allegedly, he's taking his own life. Or allegedly somebody else is taking his life. Judgment is supposed to go forth. This world is out of order because we are not ruling it anymore. When we were ruling it, we made sure the world stayed in order. That was your job. When God made you, he made you as the example for the rest of the earth. So the rest of the earth would understand not to kill because they would see me and you don't kill each other. We're supposed to set the example. We're supposed to set the trend. We're supposed to set the trend. So I'm going to give you an example of that trend that we're supposed to set. Give me the book of Romans 9 and 13. So we're going to read something in the Bible, and we're going to read something that we wrote to ourselves. I'm going to read this last thing for you, all right, John? Read this last thing for you. Read what you got.
Romans chapter 9, verse 13.
Now, we have somebody here who is so rude. Mind you, this is the evil people. Me and you were already talking.
I'm the other evil people.
If whoever is here wanted to interrupt the conversation, there's a way to do it. Excuse me, can I say something and wait your turn?
Oh, I can't wait my turn.
Over here in America, they've had 400 and 500 years of not having to respect us in anything.
You're preaching
so I don't expect them to know how to respect each other or how to respect us because we haven't learned how to respect us yet. So when we learn that, then we're going to turn around and teach the rest of the earth. Read what you got.
Well, then you should
As it is written.
As it is written. So the Bible describes how God feels about so-called white people. Nobody's white. This right here, this is white. What's the skin color?
I don't know anything. Look, I'm telling you.
What was it, John?
About white guys.
Oh my God.
Why white guys?
Her skin color is red. That's in the Bible.
Bring it up.
Just told you that.
I'm the devil.
They told you that these people that mistreat us, they're not white, they're red. They call themselves white because when we were in slavery, white means being pure. So they tried to say they were purer than us. They called you black because black is supposed to mean evil. So they were trying to say that you were evil.
See,
but you're not black, and she's not white.
Right.
But let's see what God says about so-called white
Tell me
people.
what God.
He calls them red, and in the Bible, their name is
Written
Esau.
by white people.
Read what you got.
Tell me what
Romans
God
chapter 9, verse 13.
Yeah.
As it is written,
Come on.
Jacob have I loved.
Jacob is your name. You come from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob.
Right.
Jacob had 12 sons. His sons became known as the children of Israel.
Right.
That's God's chosen people.
Right.
An African American is actually the tribe of Judah according to the Bible.
Right.
So you would be this son out of Jacob.
Right.
That would be you. So God says, what about you? Read.
Jacob have I loved.
Jacob, John, God loves you. Read.
But Esau,
Esau is the biblical name for the white people or the red race. What does God say about Esau? Read.
but Esau have I hated.
Have I what?
Hated.
God does hate.
That's me, huh?
He doesn't hate you though.
That's
Right.
me.
He hates the people that have been mistreated
He did.
That's
for thousands of years at this point.
Bring it up.
What we're here to teach our
You
people
fucking
is
ridiculous.
once we treat
are teaching
ourselves,
hate.
once we
You are
treat ourselves
teaching
with more
hate.
respect, God is going to come
You are
back and
teaching
set
hate
the earth in
to a
order.
white man's
And He's going to put
Bible,
us
and
back
you're
on
just
top.
ignorant.
I'm going to give you an example of us
You
getting
are
back on
teaching
top.
hate to
Right
a
before we
white
go.
man's Bible, and that is
Let me say Matthew chapter 5 and verse 16. On your way out, John, I want you to listen to this, all right? This is why I keep making the statement. God chose you to be the example. Because everything we do as so-called black people, every other
You
group.
are fucking ignorant.
When you came up with rap and hip-hop, who copied?
Bring
When
it
you
up.
came up with spice on how to cook food, who copied?
Right.
The rest of the world already knew about spice.
Right.
Her people just discovered, oh, I can put
Right.
seasoning on my food.
My people
Bring
do
it up.
Get some spices.
My people.
Right.
Everything you do, you lead.
Right.
Even,
I'm a
gonna
part
hit you
of the
something, John.
human race.
Even when it's something bad.
Not the white
You started
race.
sagging your
The
pants,
human
who picked
race.
up the style? You are the leader of the earth.
Right.
So if the earth is not right, it's because we're not leading it right.
Right.
And when
Bring
the
it
earth
up.
get right is when we lead them right.
Right.
Who would you
You
got?
know what?
Matthew chapter
You think you're
5,
right?
verse
You think
16.
you're right?
Let your light so shine before men.
Let your light do what?
Shine before men.
When they see us interact with each other, they should see the way we deal with each other is so productive, they have no choice but to copy how we deal with each other.
Right. Right.
That's why their law system is called the judicial system. Jew is the root word. Judah,
Oh, so now you a
just
Jew?
said it. They
Are
took
you
our
really
law,
ignorant?
after they conquered
Oh
us,
my
they took
God.
our law and said, well, these people were pretty organized at one point. We want to learn how to
You
do
gonna
that.
film
So
this
they
film?
opened your
Oh
book and
my
said,
God.
okay, I'm going to make a law here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. This book has laws on everything. How to
Right.
eat, how to dress, how to go to war, how to order your economics. They learned all that from you.
That's
They learned all
right.
that from you. And in
If
order for this
Jesus
earth to
was
get back the
real,
way it's
he's
supposed to be,
Arabic.
we
You're
have to
fucking
get back to being the
something.
teacher of the planet.
Right.
But in order to do that, we have to repent.
my
All right?
God.
Pay attention
You
to that
are
flyer,
fucking
John. I appreciate your time, man. All right? Good information in there, all right?
Oh,
Read what you got
yeah.
again.
You saved the soul, I'm sure.
Let your light so shine before men,
You
that
are
they see your good works
bringing with money
and
and
glorify
God.
your Father which is in heaven.
That they may see our good works. I'm going to give you an example of the good works of the Israelites.
Right.
Not one time have you seen so-called black and Hispanics take a cross and put it in a Caucasian's yard and set it on fire.
Bring it up.
What did you say now?
Are the epitome of good works.
Right.
To be so mistreated and to never lash out and attack back.
Right.
But these people are so evil to the core. They say that us telling the
have
truth
never,
is a problem.
Ever. And I've
Read what you
never
got
even
again.
dated a white
Let
person.
your light so shine before men.
So we're out here to let our light shine before men. Those men are the men of Israel. The men of these
I don't
so-called
have to
black,
shit.
Hispanic, and Native American communities. Please step back and respect our property,
Step on
please.
your stuff.
All right? We're out here to
I
read
have
God's
never.
word. All
And
we're
I've never
doing is
dated a
reading
white
what God's
person.
word says.
Tell me about my
If you have an issue with God's word, it's because you have an issue
God's
with
word
Him.
written by a
Bring it
woman.
up.
Thessalonians 4 and 8.
You fucking
If you have an issue with God's word, it's because you have an issue with Him. The
I got an issue
Bible
with you,
is constantly talking about black people ruling the earth.
You,
Black people were the beginning of civilization.
And there's no
Adam was the first man of the earth.
Right.
He was made of the earth.
Nobody
the
started
soil.
doing that point.
Adam, or the Hebrew Adam,
You gonna tell
means
me I'm a
earth.
bad person?
That's what was used. We're the beginning of civilization, and we're also going to be the end
know.
of
That's right.
Man.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 8.
Come on.
He therefore that despises not man.
So the Bible says if you have a problem with what the word says, you don't hate the faithful people. The prophets of God have always spoken God's word.
Right.
The Bible explains you don't hate us, you hate who? Read.
He therefore that despises not man, but God.
That's right.
But God.
That's right.
But God.
And the truth is, your hands are too short to box with God.
Right.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.